You have likely heard the promise of DevOps: faster releases, better collaboration, continuous delivery, innovation at scale. And in many organizations, DevOps has delivered exactly that. Release cycles that once took months now take days. Infrastructure that once required procurement cycles is now provisioned in minutes. Engineering teams move faster than ever before. But here is the uncomfortable truth: speed without security leadership creates invisible risk. And invisible risk eventually becomes visible crisis. If you are a leader, this lecture is about helping you understand why traditional DevOps, when implemented without strong security leadership, fails strategically, operationally, and financially. And more importantly, what your role is in preventing that failure. DevOps was born to solve a real problem. Development teams wanted speed. Operations teams wanted stability. DevOps unified them around automation, shared accountability, and continuous improvement. But security was not originally part of that conversation. In many organizations, security remained a separate function. A gate at the end, a review before production, a compliance checklist before go live. DevOps optimized for speed and reliability, but not for adversaries. You cannot blame DevOps for that. DevOps was never designed to defend against nation-state attackers, ransomware gangs, or supply chain compromises. It was designed to ship software faster. When you adopt DevOps without integrating security leadership, you unintentionally create a powerful machine that can ship vulnerabilities at scale. That is the blind spot. As a leader, you must understand one fundamental principle: automation amplifies outcomes. If your pipeline builds secure code, automation helps you scale secure code. If your pipeline builds insecure code, automation helps you scale insecure code faster. Traditional DevOps accelerates change, but without defined risk appetite, architectural guardrails, and executive level security oversight, you are accelerating exposure. Consider this scenario: your organization moves to continuous deployment. Developers push code directly into production multiple times per day. That sounds modern and efficient, but if there is no mandatory security validation, no threat modeling expectations, no software composition analysis, no runtime protection strategy, you have created a high-speed vulnerability delivery system. The faster you move, the faster you compound risk. And when a breach occurs, the board does not ask how fast you shipped. They ask why security was not embedded. In traditional DevOps environments, security often appears as a gate, a scanning tool, a checklist, a sign-off. But leadership is not about gates. Leadership is about direction. If you treat security as a late-stage approval step, you create friction. Engineering teams see security as a blocker. Security teams feel ignored. Delivery teams optimize around bypassing controls. The result is cultural fragmentation. Without executive alignment, security becomes tactical. Tactical security loses to strategic delivery pressure every time. As a leader, your responsibility is to elevate security from a control function to a strategic enabler. That means defining what secure enough means for your organization. It means making risk trade-offs explicit. It means ensuring that speed and safety are balanced intentionally, not accidentally. Traditional DevOps fails when leadership remains silent on security priorities. If you do not define security expectations clearly, engineering teams will default to delivery metrics: velocity, sprint completion, deployment frequency, uptime. None of those metrics measure adversarial resilience. When leadership does not articulate security objectives, teams assume security is someone else's responsibility. Development assumes operations will catch issues. Operations assumes security will review. Security assumes developers will fix. This diffusion of accountability creates systemic weakness. DevOps removes silos between development and operations. But if security leadership is not integrated, you simply create a faster siloed system. Leadership vacuum is the real failure point. Traditional DevOps thrives on open source components, third-party libraries, and cloud-native services. Modern applications may contain hundreds of dependencies. Without security leadership, dependency risk is invisible. Your teams may not even know what is running in production. No software bill of materials. No governance over external packages. No defined process for vulnerability remediation timelines. Now consider a real-world pattern. A critical vulnerability appears in a widely used open source library. Within hours, attackers begin scanning the internet. Within days, exploitation becomes automated. If you do not have leadership mandated visibility into your software supply chain, your response becomes reactive and chaotic. Traditional DevOps assumes components are safe until proven otherwise. Security leadership assumes components are risky until verified. That mindset difference is what separates resilient organizations from breached ones. DevOps is tightly coupled with cloud adoption. Infrastructure as code, containers, Kubernetes, serverless. Without security leadership, cloud environments sprawl rapidly. New subscriptions, new clusters, new APIs, new identities, minimal governance. Traditional DevOps optimizes for autonomy. Teams provision what they need. But autonomy without architectural guardrails leads to inconsistent configurations, excessive privileges, exposed services, and unmanaged secrets. You do not fix this with a tool. You fix this with leadership-driven architectural standards. If you do not define identity-first security principles, zero trust expectations, logging standards, and runtime monitoring requirements, DevOps pipelines will deploy what is easiest, not what is safest. Cloud does not forgive weak governance. One of the most dangerous outcomes of traditional DevOps is misleading success signals. Deployment frequency increases. That looks good. Mean time to recovery decreases. That looks good. Infrastructure provisioning becomes automated. That looks good. But if you are not measuring vulnerability aging, secrets exposure rates, misconfiguration trends, supply chain risk, privilege sprawl, security debt accumulation, you are flying blind. Security leadership introduces risk-based metrics into DevOps dashboards. Without those metrics, leaders assume transformation is successful until an incident reveals otherwise. Transformation without security telemetry is illusion. DevOps emphasizes collaboration, but collaboration without shared security accountability creates imbalance. If developers are rewarded only for speed, they will optimize for speed. If operations are rewarded only for uptime, they will optimize for uptime. If security is rewarded only for compliance, they will optimize for audit evidence. Leadership defines what the organization truly values. When leaders communicate that security is a shared engineering responsibility, not a separate team's burden, culture shifts. Without that message, DevOps culture unintentionally marginalizes security, and culture is harder to fix than code. Let us examine the financial dimension. When security is not embedded early, vulnerabilities surface late, often in production. Fixing security issues in production is exponentially more expensive than fixing them during design. Add to that incident response costs, regulatory penalties, customer trust erosion, executive scrutiny, insurance premium increases, operational disruption. Traditional DevOps without security leadership converts predictable risk into unpredictable crisis. Leaders who invest early in governance, architectural clarity, and cultural alignment avoid catastrophic costs later. This is not about fear, it is about responsible stewardship. In regulated sectors, energy, healthcare, finance, government, DevOps velocity does not exempt you from compliance obligations. Frameworks require auditability, traceability, access control, vulnerability management, logging retention, and incident reporting. If DevOps pipelines are not aligned to these requirements from the start, you accumulate technical and compliance debt simultaneously. Security leadership ensures that transformation aligns with regulatory obligations, not after deployment, but by design. Without that alignment, audits become painful, findings increase, remediation costs escalate. Traditional DevOps rarely fails technically. It fails strategically because it ignores governance. Security leadership in DevOps does not mean writing firewall rules. It does not mean performing manual code reviews. It means defining risk appetite clearly, mandating secure architecture patterns, embedding security objectives into KPIs, aligning incentives across engineering, operations, and security, ensuring visibility into software supply chain and cloud posture, making trade-offs explicit at the executive level. When security is a board-level conversation, DevOps becomes resilient. When security is a technical afterthought, DevOps becomes fragile. Your role is not to slow down engineering. Your role is to ensure acceleration does not create instability. DevSecOps is not a tooling shift. It is a leadership shift. It recognizes that in a world of continuous delivery, security cannot remain episodic. It must be continuous as well. Traditional DevOps fails because it assumes collaboration between development and operations is enough. In today's threat landscape, collaboration must include security by design. And that inclusion begins with you. Ask yourself, do you know your organization's software supply chain exposure? Are security metrics visible in executive dashboards? Is vulnerability remediation time tied to leadership accountability? Are cloud architectures standardized with security guardrails? Is security culture rewarded or merely audited? If you cannot confidently answer these questions, traditional DevOps in your organization may already be under strain. And strain under pressure becomes fracture. If this lecture has shifted your perspective, take the next step. Do not treat DevSecOps as a tooling initiative. Treat it as a leadership transformation. In your next executive meeting, ask how security is embedded into DevOps metrics. Ask how supply chain risk is monitored. Ask how cloud governance is enforced. Ask how accountability is shared. Start the conversation. If you found this session valuable, subscribe to this playlist on DevSecOps for leaders. Like this video so it reaches more decision makers, and share your thoughts in the comments. What challenges are you seeing in your organization's DevOps transformation? Your leadership determines whether speed becomes advantage or vulnerability. In the next lecture, you will explore how to build a DevSecOps vision that aligns boardroom strategy with engineering reality.